Once upon a time, the universe was a place full of infinite darkness. Somewhere within that darkness, energetic forces communed and set off a massive explosion known as the Great Wave. This wave sparked the manifestation of light and gave birth to the physical universe. Thanks to this event, sentient beings of light matter began to form in different regions within space. After taking form, some species and races banded together and initiated a movement to conquer and claim regions in space. The forces beyond light favored and sponsored chosen groups. There were wars. These wars created warriors known for their force and raw power. Among these warriors were two who would pave the way for a new force to enter the realm of light. One of the warriors was named Shemu. Shemu was an intimidating and fierce warrior, dignified, disciplined, and mighty. He was well respected by his tribe. He belonged to the Waba tribe, a ruffian group of warriors who conquered lands without mercy. Shemu often commanded his tribesmen to leave him alone on the battlefield, choosing to fight in solitude, void of spectators. He had a self-assigned ritual that demanded it. The other warrior was Kolo. Kolo was a handsome, swift, and light-hearted warrior who only mastered the warrior arts because the times demanded it. Kolo's enemies often looked down on him, not because he was weak, but because he was kind. Kolo often began his battles and wars with a plea. He showed compassion in a world of cruelty and danced among those who craved destruction. Kolo desired peace and connection, and he wasn't afraid to show it. Because of this, Kolo's enemies saw his sensitivity as weakness. His plea would be mocked and rejected, and his opponents would strike, only to find out the hard way that they had gravely underestimated him. Kolo came from the Amafu. His tribe respected him despite his different approach to battle. Before his manifestation, the Amafu were like any other, but Kolo demanded a change. He livened up the ruthless world with his expression and inner light. The two warriors were alike in that they had their own way of beginning a battle. Their presence demanded a shift in routine. Shemu marked an ending, while Kolo pleaded for a new beginning. The two acted out their principles, alone and unafraid. Because of this, they often went off on conquest individually, apart from their tribe. Shemu, conquering enemy tribes. Kolo, seeking connection and peace. One day, Shemu embarked on a journey ahead of his men to a village in the northern region, a place at the edge of the light world. Shemu entered the village and demanded to speak with the chief. He told the chief and the villagers that his tribe would arrive in 2 days, and they were not merciful people. He explained that it would be wise to surrender now to avoid pointless bloodshed, because if they did not, death would be the only outcome. Shemu's warning was taken as a threat. The villagers were offended and went into a rage. This rage caused them to attack Shemu. The chief yelled, "Kill him and display his head as a warning to the Waba." Shemu remained silent. His face was hard to read, but he looked disappointed. He used one of his techniques and finished them all off in less than 5 minutes. After the battle ended, he stood still in silence. Then, Shemu proceeded to honor the villagers. He offered a drink and bowed to the deceased. He had performed his battle ritual. Shemu did not know that, in the distance, he was being watched by someone who also had plans to visit this village. From afar, Kolo witnessed it all. Tears fell from his face as he observed in silence. Night came, and the universal light began to shine as the main light of the world went to rest. The edge of the universe revealed itself, unveiling a pocket of darkness. Shemu observed. Kolo jumped from the place he was and landed lightly behind Shemu. "So this is it," said Kolo. Startled, Shemu immediately began to strike, but stopped when he saw Kolo bowing. "No more of this," Kolo pleaded. Shemu dropped his weapon and turned back to stare into the abyss. Kolo walked up beside him. "They say the forces abandoned this place, that it's the Forsaken Land, where lost souls end up in the world of light," said Shemu. "What does that mean for us, who are here now?" asked Kolo. Shemu remained silent. "I saw everything, you know," said Kolo. "What are you talking about?" asked Shemu. "I saw that the people of this village were cared for, from beginning to end, by a ruthless warrior, said to put stone to shame in terms of toughness, a nightmare to many. But you're not as heartless as you pretend to be, are you?" said Kolo. "You fight alone to bear burdens you don't want others to carry. And then at the end of it all, your core weeps. That is the secret behind the sacred ritual of Shemu." Triggered, Shemu yelled, "Did you come here to mock me?" Shemu looked into Kolo's eyes. They were full of compassion and pain. "Me? Mock you? No, never," Kolo said sincerely. "I came here to appreciate you. I know what it's like to fight battles you don't want to fight, for people who never seem to understand you. I often ask myself, what's the meaning of it all?" Shemu was silenced. His guard began to drop. He related. "Have you come to a conclusion?" asked Kolo. "You sure talk a lot," said Shemu, cracking a smile for what seemed like the first time in his life. "You know as much as I do. I believe you know more than you let on, or at least you would, if you'd stop running from your feelings and let them inform you," said Kolo. Shemu was triggered again. He drew his weapon, full of rage. "You're not mad at me. You're angry at the truth," said Kolo calmly. "It's scary to live differently than how you were groomed. But if you go past the surface of what others have shown or told you, you'll find your own way. You don't have to be a prisoner of a sick era." Kolo looked into Shemu's eyes. They looked enraged, but were wet with tears, pools of water, repression in the eyes of a man. "Only I have seen this side of you," said Kolo. Shemu approached with his weapon in hand, embarrassed, ready to kill the man who had seen his tenderness. But before he could strike, Kolo spoke, being soulfully honest. "I find it beautiful," Kolo said. Shemu's eyes widened. His heart skipped a beat. He dropped his weapon. For the first time, he felt what it was like to be accepted. Kolo stepped forward and embraced the warrior, also feeling for the first time what it was like to be accepted. The two warriors' bodies began to glow. Their energies ascended into the sky, rearranging stars. They surrendered to one another. The void caught fire, and their bodies began to radiate an energy brighter than the lights of space. A being formed above them. He was born of their surrender, tenderness, masculinity, and embrace. He was the first fire god, Namizulo,